Today's show is brought to you by the people that cast you aside. Why else would you be listening to this podcast unless you were fucking alone?
Down with Joe DeRosa.
Welcome to Down with Joe DeRosa. One topic, 1 hour, one guest. Today's topic, dating. The wonderful, exhilarating, terrifying, devastating, and stimulating thing we all do in the hopes of finding that special someone or just crushing some sweet tail. We all have our love stories, but most of us, more of us, have horror stories. And here's mine, since this topic is so vast and varied that there's no way to really pinpoint one unwavering perspective on it. I asked a girl out on Twitter recently, not through a DM, on Twitter, where friends of mine could and did favorite the tweet. Why did I do that? Because I thought she was cool and cute. And what did she say? In so many words, no. And it felt like high school all over again, shot down for what appeared to be the entire world to see. Was I mortified? Slightly. Was I embarrassed? Sure. Was I hurt? Not really, because I've been playing this harsh romantic game for so long, it now just feels like football more than romance. You step on the field, you will be bruised, there will be blood, and hopefully some sex. And hey, maybe even love. So we all get up to love and fight another day, and also have our hearts fucking broken. And my guest today has told me a heartbreak story or two. He's someone I met roughly 9 years ago in New York City, where so many comics used to first meet in front of the dingy facade of the late fabulous Boston Comedy Club. I found him hilarious then, and that has not changed in any way. He's one of the many impressive versions of what you could call a triple threat as a writer. As a writer, he was one of the masterminds behind 65 episodes of Chappelle's Show, and he also co-created it. He's also written for immensely popular shows like Funny or Die Presents and Kenan and Kel. His film works include directing Jeremy Piven and Will Ferrell in The Goods and co-writing the movie Half-Baked, which remains being one of my favorites to this day. Finally, his 1 hour special entitled Women and Black Dudes showcases him doing what I like seeing him do most, stand-up comedy. Neal Brennan.
Yeah.
How are you?
I thought that was never going to end.
Your intro or the whole thing?
Well, no, I just like how you said that I wrote for Kenan and Kel. Also, we didn't do no 65 episodes. We did 25.
It said 65 on IMDb.
No, we did 28.
I guess 65 would be a lot. But no, when I read that, I was like, oh, yeah, 3 seasons. I guess 20-some episodes per season.
2.3 seasons.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying really like I didn't know the story. Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Did it go up? What happened?
What?
No, it was just canceled regular, right?
Yeah, we ran it. The people gave up on us. People turned their back.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, well, 23 episodes then.
Yeah.
25, whatever.
Felt like 65, though.
Felt like 65.
Yeah.
Look, they were all good, Neal, and that's all that
buddy.
counts. Neal was saying right when he got here, I quote, podcasts are the fucking worst.
Mm-hmm.
It is the worst.
And this is from a guy who has a podcast, and it's the whole thing is embarrassing.
I should have plugged your podcast. I'm
It's
sorry.
called The Champs.
The Champs.
It's we're finally popular.
Okay, good.
We're finally regularly in the top 30.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. It's a consistent booking people is a nightmare. Meeting them, cajoling them to come, them calling. I'm outside. Where do I park?
I know.
Where y'all at?
I know.
And then it's all black dudes. That's the premise of the show. We only interview black guys, and they don't even know what podcasts are a lot of the time. And I say that it's just they just don't. Are like, what? Donnell always says it like black people don't fuck with technology.
What do some of your guests think is happening when they show up if they don't?
Well, what they finally get, they kind of get it.
Right.
I mean, most of them get it, but like I will straight up go get text back going, "The fuck is a podcast?"
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Can you tell me anybody that said that?
D. Ray Davis.
He said
comedian.
the fuck is a podcast.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
So it's just not a part of
black
culture
life.
as much as it is white culture?
No, not
Really?
even close.
Okay. You know what? My old manager told me when I was thinking about starting this podcast, and it was probably a year before I did, I was just like, what's the fucking point? There's so many. And he was like, no, there's not so many. You think there's so many because you're a comic. And it seems like everybody has one because all your comedian friends have
Mm-hmm.
one. But in the world itself, podcasts are not that huge of a thing.
No, they're not that huge. But I mean, I love that we're all good at talking.
Yeah.
I love that we're just like, oh, no, we're all great at talking. We're going to take care of this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's mostly comics in the top 20.
I love it because I feel like it's a return, and that's what we're trying to do with this show, to traditional talk radio. I always loved AM talk radio, which eventually just went the way of the dodo or became really hard.
Screaming
political stuff or whatever. But I used to love when it was just, I used to deliver pizzas at night when I was in college. And I
believe that. Go
yeah,
ahead.
you believe it. Philly. Yeah, Dave.
Yeah, Dave.
Delivering hoagies, son. But yeah, I delivered pizzas, and it was just like, I loved it. You drive around, and like a guy would come on the radio and go, today's topic, dating. And then people would call in and be like, you're right on the money, man. I agree with everything you say. Or people would call in and be like, what the fuck you're talking about?
That I actually I always mean to listen to more talk radio than I do. But it is hard to find good talk. It always makes me think of premises.
Yeah.
It always makes me think of jokes, and I never do it.
It doesn't really exist anymore.
No.
I mean, even on like Sirius Satellite, which I thought was going to really bring a lot of it back, there isn't really like a talk station. There's Opie and Anthony and Ron and Fez and Stern and those shows, but like there's not like a talk station on there.
Yeah.
I guess there's a new one called Stand Up that Pete Dominic's on, and I think no, it's not. His show's called Stand Up. The station, whatever. I think that's going to be like their new sort of podcasty.
Oh, good.
Which is funny to hear radio saying we're going to be more podcast.
Yeah, we're going to get me a podcast.
Yeah. So anyway, dating. This is why we're here. You picked this topic. I wasn't surprised that you picked this topic when I sent you the list of topics.
Yeah.
Because as I said in your intro, you told me a couple of heartbreak stories. I find you to be, would you say, a hopeless romantic in a certain way? You got a little bit of that old romantic streak in you.
I would like it to work.
Mm-hmm.
I would really like it to work. I fell in love with a girl for the first time 2 years ago.
Right.
And that's the first time.
How old are you now, if you don't
40.
mind? You're 40.
Yeah.
It took till 38.
Yeah.
So there's hope for me because I'm 36, and it's still, I've loved people and I've had relationships, but nothing's worked out so far.
But yeah, what I realized is that it takes, first of all, the shit's impossible. Like, that's A. But what's impossible about it is you got to find somebody. What I realized with the girl that I was in love with is like, you got to have shit in common.
Right.
Which I didn't, for a long time, I inadvertently had low expectations.
Right.
I think a lot of guys have low expectations for what girls can be like.
Right.
So it's like you always hear guys go like, well, they're all crazy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so guys assume that girls are going to be crazy, and you assume that they're going to be a pain in the butt.
Right.
And they're going to be a little talky and chatty, and they're going to talk more than you want. They're going to be needy and all that stuff. But what I found is with that girl, I was like, oh, shit. All right. There is a whole nother type. I mean, I haven't met a ton of them, but.
What was the thing about her? I mean, I know there was probably many things, but what was the one thing that really popped at first? The first thing that made you say, oh, this is not like everybody else. This is different.
We could talk forever.
That's great.
Yeah.
That is
about
great.
Really interesting. She was getting a master's in psychology.
Right.
And we could just talk endlessly.
That's so important. I think that's more important than anything. I almost think that's more important than like sexual chemistry.
Of course, the thing I always tell people is, if you fuck a lot, you're fucking 5% of the relationship.
Right.
That's if you fuck a lot.
Right. Yeah.
It's mostly just, it's like I tried to joke, it didn't really work, but I was like, you want to know what a relationship's going to be like? Just don't think about the sex. Just right now, just drive to a diner, sit in silence for a half an hour, and then ask her about her sister. And that's what a relationship is going to be. Yeah. Like, that's ultimately where you're headed. So it's like, do you like being around them? And then also like just talking. Right. Just fucking, we could talk a lot.
Yeah.
and she wasn't dogmatic in her beliefs. Like she was open to. She was just like, yeah, you know, she wasn't like, she was willing to admit what people are like. I think a lot of time, and that's important.
Well, no, it absolutely is. It's you know, it's funny because, you know, the cliche obviously is opposites attract. You know,
no, they don't.
Yeah, and it's just not true. Like when I'm with an opposite, I want to wring their
horrible.
neck. It's the worst thing ever.
Yeah, opposites can fuck for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, you can have that sort of stupid romantic comedy energy where you're yelling at each other, and then like there's that like, I'm gonna kiss you right now. You know what I mean? Like that whole stupid thing.
Yeah,
that's possible with opposites. The other thing that's possible with opposites is, you know, you can meet somebody that sort of gets you to brush the dirt off your shoulder once in a while, or you know, maybe gives you a darker perspective on things if you're a really bright type of person. But I do think you need the like-minded person. The best girls I've ever dated were I remember there was one girl, she would stay at my apartment sometimes, and she'd be there for 25 hours. And I didn't care. There was no part of me that was like, get out of here.
Be. I always say, like, when I'm looking in one direction and the girl is out of my peripheral vision, I want to feel good energy. You know what I mean? Like, I want to know. I want them around, and it's hard to find somebody because men and women are very different. That's the thing. Gary Shandling one time did a joke. He goes, "They're the opposite sex. They're not different. Mm-hmm. They're the opposite."
Yeah.
And that's how it feels a lot of the time, where it's like, just like, oh, fuck, I don't want to do any of the shit you want to do.
Right. Well, I totally agree with that concept of the opposite thing. That's really, really insightful for something that we probably all should have figured out. And I love that. But it's like, here's what kills me is, and I think it would make it dating a lot easier. I think the cliches that apply to women and their behaviors are obviously insulting at times. You know, they're all crazy, as you said earlier, or she's fucked a lot of guys, so she's a whore, or, you know, women, man, they're just emotional, or, you know, those things can be hurtful to women. They also, though, justify a lot of behaviors with women. You know, girls are able to then say, hey, I'm a girl. This is how we are sometimes. I really wish guys could get off the hook with stuff like that once in a while. You know?
That's the thing I noticed a long time ago. I was dating a girl who was Italian. She was literally she lived in Italy. Long story. But she was like, she was a person first. Right. And then she was a woman. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's what I kind of look for. Right. Is like it's a bit like Patrice's thing of like, you got to be more than your pussy, but it's like, just be a fucking human being. Don't use the woman thing as a cudgel, because it's not fair. And it also, you're contributing to the stereotype. You're continuing it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, here's the thing. Let's get back to the opposites thing for a second, or more specifically, the similarities thing. I have dated so frequently in the pool of entertainment because I'm a comic, and because those are the people I meet. I meet comic. I'm around them. That's it. It rarely ever works out, you know, or goes well. And
I've never dated a comic. I've never even made out with a comic.
It's tough, man. It's tough because, see, here's the thing. You don't want the opposite, but then you also don't want too similar.
Well, my worry is always like, if I'm with a girl who's a comic, we're going to be hanging out and she's going to be writing snaps about me.
Right.
In her head.
Right.
Like, when Polar used to always say, like, why don't you date a funny girl? I was like, because I got it covered. I got that covered. I'm good with fucking jokes. Like, I don't need that. Right. Like, I'm not short on bits.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, having said that, it's fun to hang out with a girl who's funny, and you know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah, but here's the thing. Not only do you have the comedy part covered, you know, you also have all the other shit covered. You don't need another person there going, so how do you think you get Letterman? Do you know what I mean?
Oh.
How do you, should I try to do an hour this year?
It's a nightmare.
It's like, this is all my shit that I'm thinking about. We don't need to do this together right now.
Yeah.
You need the person you go to and say, I'm trying to get this special off the ground and it's a hard time. And she goes, sweetie, it'll be fine. It's just like at med school when I ...
And they don't know what they're talking about, but there's a sweetness to it.
And it helps.
And it helps because that's what you need. I don't need realism.
This is what I want. This is what I want in a relationship. Did you see the new Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man?
No.
There's a part where you know how Uncle Ben dies in Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not spoiling anything. That's what happens. There's a part where his uncle leaves him a voicemail, and the whole thing is the uncle being like, son, I know I'm not your dad, but take it from an old man. Life is tough, and you got to stand up for things, and da-da-da, and you're my hero. And he just gives them this perfect speech where he's like, I don't know what you're going through right now. I know I'm not your father. I know I'm not in your shoes, but I can tell you this. I've had life experience, and this is what I've learned, and I love you. And you hear this voice, and you're like, that's the only thing you'd ever want from your significant other. You know what I mean? Just the motherly / fatherly thing of, I support you, I love you, I'm going to try to relate. If I don't relate, teach it to me. Help me understand what it is. But what you don't need a lot of the time is someone going, I know exactly what you're talking about. Because that's when the don't you think you're being needy right now? Those comments start to come out. Oh, get over it. And that's being said because they're pissed off that they didn't get fucking Fallon or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's so tough, man. God damn, it's so tough. I always said my perfect
Have you thought about not doing it anymore?
Yeah, many times.
And how far did that get you? I also don't want to bump into people. Meaning, I don't want to date a girl, and then I'm always looking for like an exit strategy. Meaning, like once we're done, I don't want to like be with on a date. A girl comes to see me, and then you're there. The girl I used to date's there, and it's just like, and she's on before me.
Right.
Comic's bringing me up.
Yeah. Your ex-girlfriend's bringing you up.
Yeah.
The girl you cheated on her with.
Yeah, it's like I just don't want fucking like it's just a mess.
Yeah. It's I've tried to not. It's not fucking heroin. I've not done it and I've done it. I seemingly always end up doing it at least a couple times a year because
how many female comics are there?
More than you'd think. I'm not, and I don't say that as like I'm not stroking my dick over here. I'm not doing a pimp thing.
It doesn't sound fun. Yeah, so don't worry about it.
It's just been the only kind of girls I've dated for a long time. Because that's all I'm ever around.
Yeah.
I always say, who else am I going to try to talk to? The fucking drunk chick who's 22. Who's stumbling up to me? You're funny. Yeah. Do a joke about me next time. It's like, I'm not going to ask that girl for her number.
Yeah.
That's annoying. It's stupid. Who else do you meet? I mean, I don't know. I'm on a writing job right now. It's like I'm only around people in the industry. That's it.
Date a makeup person or something.
The only makeup people I meet are jobs that I'm on. And then you're like, well, I don't want to ask out the makeup girl at my job. Because then that's weird.
What? You're fucking asking out the girls at your other job.
Yeah, but there's no financial consequence to that. If I date a comic and it goes sour, it's not like a club's ever going to be like, can't book you anymore, buddy. Know.
How sour do these
Joy
relationships
Behar
go?
said it didn't work. That's never going to happen.
How sour do these relationships go?
They don't go that sour. I'm friends with mostly every female comic I've ever dated or hooked up with, ever.
Yeah.
I'm friends with all of them. Like all of them. I can't think of one that I just had a vision of them all sitting in a room together listening to this podcast going, oh, yeah, you think we all like you?
Yeah.
Asshole.
Yeah.
But no, I don't have any problems with any of them. Some of them are still dear friends. It's not a secret. Nikki Glazer and I had a thing for a little while, and we're still terribly close. She texts me and says, like, you should ask this girl out. And, like, we have that kind of friendship.
Yeah.
So there are girls out there. I went out with my last girlfriend was a girl named Molly Austin, who's a comic in New York, and we're still really close. And, it's never terrible.
Yeah.
It's just I always said my perfect girl would be, like the perfect girl for me to date, I should say, would be like a bartender. She's on my schedule.
Mm-hmm.
She understands late night hours. She's got a few bumps and bruises from being in the bar environment. She can handle herself. She's probably got a bit of a mouth on her, and I like that. But that to me was always like, that would be perfect. And the idea of dating like a doctor or psychologist or something like that is very stimulating to me. But I'm like, what would we do? She'd get home from work. I'd be at work. I'd be coming home from work. She'd be waking up for work. Like, how do you work that schedule out,
Yeah, I don't know. I think you work it out. The girl that I was talking about earlier, basically I would just take nights off from stand-up.
Right.
To hang out with her.
Wasn't she so tired from putting in like 14-hour shifts at a hospital and stuff like that?
No, she wasn't. She was Native American.
Uh-huh.
And you know how you hear Native Americans live off casinos sometimes?
Yeah.
She was one of those people.
Okay.
So she didn't have to work. She had a kid. So she had that work.
That like? That's interesting.
It wasn't as interesting or like a thing as you would think.
Uh-huh.
Like it was sort of just like, okay. Like she'd the baby would go to bed and then her daughter would go to bed and then we'd hang out.
How old was her baby or daughter?
4.
3, just 4? One kid.
Yeah.
3, 4.
Yeah.
Was there any weirdness with you being like, are you my daddy?
No.
That kind of thing?
Nope.
Nothing like that?
No.
What'd she call you? Did she call you Neal?
She called me daddy. No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
But it wasn't weird. There was no weirdness. No, she called me Neal.
She called you Neal?
Yeah.
And that was it? Like, no, like, you're my mom's friend? Like, no weird
question? I don't know. No, not really. She wasn't like that she might have been 3, so she wasn't that talky.
Uh-huh.
But we would get along and
Are you good with kids?
All right.
Like, are you good at being like the hi soldier, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I don't really play that.
Uh-huh.
That condescending tone thing.
Right.
I just talk to them like people.
So I'm a 3-year-old. Talk to me.
Hey, Joe. Having a good day, buddy?
Are you my daddy?
Of course I am.
But literally, that's it. Hey, how you doing? That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm nice, but I'm not like, I'm sure I do throw a little bit of that in.
I can't do that because I feel so fucking stupid when I do it.
The boo-boo talk?
Oh, my God, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't. I feel like an idiot.
I don't think it's necessary.
It's probably not.
People think it's weird that I talk to my dog like a person.
How do you talk to your dog?
Just like, come on, man.
I'm your dog. Ready? Go ahead.
Dude, come on. Like, let's go. I gotta go.
Are you my dad, Neal?
Yes, I am my dog's dad. Oh, no, someone made fun of me because I said my dog is my roommate.
Right.
And not my son.
Well, yeah, no, that's less creepy to say roommate, I think. Well, I always joke, I have a joke in my act about like how bad I am with kids, that like when I talk to my nephews, it sounds like I'm just conducting a job interview. It's just serious questions. It's like, how are you? Good? You're having a good day? How was school? What's your good subject?
I don't think that's wrong.
Okay, great. Yeah, good talking to you. We'll crunch the numbers.
They got it. Yeah, I don't think it's so bad.
Yeah, they don't really respond to it. They're just kind of like, and then I'm like, I love you. Here's a video game because I don't know how to express my love. This is Batman Arkham City. I hope you like it, and I'll see you in 3 months.
It's fucking way too old for you. You're not supposed to play.
Yeah, so it's a tough thing. No, but here's what I want to really talk about. All this other bullshit is bullshit. Let's get into the nitty gritty. Let's talk dating, because we've drifted sort of into relationships.
Sorry,
no.
Podcast.
Don't be sorry. It's great. It's all part of it.
Gotta be honest. Not that sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can tell you're not. I can tell you're not. You have the eyes of a man who's never sorry.
That's about to change. I'm working on it.
Here's the thing. Dating, what's your approach, man? What's your approach now? Because that's the problem I have, and why I always... And by the way, female comics that may or may not be listening, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to date you. I'm just saying it's the only thing I seem to have done in recent years. And I have no idea how to even expand out of that. Maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. But where do you start now? You're starting from scratch. You went through a breakup. Now what do you do to find the girl?
I had another girl that I dated that I was in love with, and we dated. She was in love with me. We were in love. We dated, and I'm not kidding, for 16 days. And it was amazing.
Magical. And
Yeah.
then disaster.
But there was no disaster. She just, whatever. That's a whole nother podcast. It was like some addiction 12-steppy stuff on both of our parts. So,
sure, yeah. Yeah, that's like an episode of Marin. He almost did an episode he did do an episode about how he went through the 5 stages of a relationship in one weekend.
Yeah.
But I do that too. I'll meet a girl. This is partly why, by the way, let me just jump in for 1 second. This is partly why when I have dated comics, it doesn't work out, because what happens is you floor it. You hit the gas. Not because they're comics, because
you're excited.
You hook up. You're excited, but you hook up. Then you bump into each other at a show. Hey, what are you doing? Want to come over? Yeah, let's go on. Then she's over, right? What do you got to do today? Nothing. Me neither. Nothing. Don't have a show till 9:30.
Right.
Let's lay around all day. And then now 3 weeks in, you've had an 8-month relationship. And it, the romantic part of that isn't the only thing that accelerates, as you know. All of a sudden, you're having fights, 2.5 weeks into something, and you're like, why are we fighting? Jesus, we just met.
Yeah, look, the way I feel about that in this case was we could have taken 6 months. It would have been the same outcome. Meaning we packed a lot into it, obviously.
Right.
But it would have been the same outcome. So okay. I can't even say, I can't say it was a mistake.
No, I don't think it is a mistake. I think
because a mutual friend of ours that introduced us was like, "You guys are going too fast. You got to calm down." And then it was like, "Yeah, but for what?"
Exactly. But that's the thing. I don't think it's a mistake either. I think it's just an acceleration. You're expediting it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's like when it's like when girls won't sleep with you because they're like, I like to wait until they have rules and stuff. It's like, all right, well, if you think that's going to affect the outcome, you're wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's wait 3 months to see if I get that dead inside feeling after I come.
But it's also,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That can come after 3 months.
Yes.
Because for 3 months, it could just be, I want to fuck this girl, and you don't even realize that's what it is.
Of course, I've often thought there's a fine line between wanting to marry somebody and wanting just to fuck them. I mean, you don't know you need to get it out of the way.
Absolutely.
Because otherwise, again, it's easy for us to say because it's less of an emotional investment to sleep with a girl than it is for them to sleep with us, from what I understand. But
for some women, it's not. I've had girls, the second it's over, they're up and putting their pants on.
Yeah.
And I've literally said to girls, "Don't you want to just stay and cuddle for a while?" And they've kind of snickered
I've
at
had
me,
that where a girl was like, "Oh, you think I'm going to be one of those T-shirt girls?" Where I'm like, "Baby, can I borrow a T-shirt?" She's like, "I'm fucking leaving."
Oh, Jesus!
All right, great.
That hurts. That hurts.
So,
I remember Patrice. I was on the road opening for him years ago, and I told him a story. I said, last night I had a one-night stand, and the girl got up and left immediately. And I was like, "Please don't leave. It's making me feel bad right now." And Patrice was like, just shook his head, and then went on stage and opened by telling the audience that story, and then turned and looked into the wings where I was standing. And he goes, "You fucking pussy."
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah, it was hilarious. But the acceleration thing, sorry.
I stand by it. I don't think it would have been a different outcome.
No.
In some ways, it's like you said, it's expedited. It's next day delivery.
It's fast food.
Yeah.
It's fast food. Do I like a cheeseburger? I don't know. I've never had one. Don't make me wait 25 minutes to get a gourmet cheeseburger. Throw me a fucking Whopper right now.
And also, it's not, So that was that. So now I've been dating, and I'm on Tinder.
Don't get me started.
Okay.
I have a whole new bit about Tinder.
Do people know Tinder?
so far when I've done the bit, they've known what I'm talking about. I'm
All right, because
curious
I
to
have
see.
a potential bit about Tinder, but I don't.
Trust me, it's not what mine is. Mine is like a vehement hatred.
No. I understand that, but I'm saying like I don't know. I'm afraid to just go like.
No,
You guys know Tinder? It's just, I don't
Yeah.
want to have to do a big long explanation.
People know what it is. I'll tell you this much: at the very least, people in LA fucking know Tinder, and people in New York know Tinder.
Okay.
I learned about Tinder when I was in Colorado, in Denver. So that's 3 cities at least where people know about it. I don't think it's a secret thing.
Okay. I don't think it's secret. I just don't want to be fucking going like, it's a website where you go.
No. That's what I meant by secret.
Yeah.
I think like the cat's out of the bag on Tinder.
Okay.
So, go ahead.
So
you do Tinder?
Yeah.
Oh, I hate it so much.
I mean, look, here's how I
Hate it.
feel about Tinder. If you think I'm cute, then I am set.
Right.
Because if you think I'm cute, my personality's excellent. My fucking face is my weakness. So if I get like past, if you like my face, wait till you fucking hear me yap.
My Tinder picture should just be a profile of my upper torso so they can see the posture and the slight male tits. And if they can see that and they go, okay, I'm in, then it's like, yeah let's do this.
Yeah.
I'll make you laugh. Actually, there should be also a little soundbite under my thing of me complaining about something. And I feel like if we can get past that stuff, then they'll really like me.
Oh, yeah. So you felt, so I do that. And
how's your success rate on it?
In terms of what? Like the amount of girls that like me relative to how many I like?
I think success rate on Tinder needs to be defined by how many girls you've gone out with. Because everybody does the swipe bullshit on there where it's like, I'll just swipe every picture and then wait to see who connects with me. And then I'll just, if I like them, great. And if I don't give a shit.
I think guys do that.
I think girls do it too. I had a lot of connections when I was on there. And then like the girl wouldn't get back to me. And it was just like, oh, I clearly was just a swipe in your yes pile because you were going for efficiency right now.
Oh, all right. That's first of all, that's comforting. Because sometimes I'll like, the girl will like me, I'll message her and nothing.
Yeah.
So now that I know it ain't me. It ain't the kid.
Here's why I hate it if I could.
Sure.
Oh wait, but what's your success rate? How many girls have you gone out with?
6.
In how many months? In as many months.
Let's go over a year.
Yeah. That seems like about the ratio.
9 months, maybe.
Yeah, that seems about what I would have had if I would have stayed on there.
Yeah.
There are other guys that are like,
but the thing was, I went off for like 5 months, so I don't know. So 6 and 4, I don't know. I'm trying to get it correct because and a lot of times I'll take it off my phone,
right?
Just because it's such a fucking waste of time.
It's an incredible waste of time. It's an incredible waste of time, and it's my problem with it. And this is stuff that's in a bit. I'm not taking it out of the conversation, everybody. But my problem with it is it's not what you think it is. You say, I hate Tinder. And people go, oh, what's wrong with it? It just cuts through the bullshit. And it's like, no, that's not what I have a problem with about it. What I have a problem with about it is that people aren't using it to cut through the bullshit. People are using it to try to meet their soulmate. And it's like, fuck you. You want to meet your soulmate? Go on eHarmony, spend $30 and an hour. Invest $30 and an hour into your future. If you're on Tinder and we swipe each other, it is loose, fast dick time. That's it. That is the fucking point of it. And it's just, to me, so representative, and not everybody, obviously, but it is so fucking representative of this goddamn non-committal thing that's out there right now. Everybody wants to talk the talk. Nobody wants to walk the walk. You're on Tinder. Be down to fuck. That's the fucking point. But it's like people just like sitting there like the goddamn queen in Alice in Wonderland swiping. Like, I want the love of my life. No swipe. No swipe.
Yeah.
No. So why isn't this easier? Oh, great. Do we have more things to make young, rich white girls feel entitled? Oh, this is another thing? This is awesome. Let's fucking... Oh, I hate it. I hate it. Should have said white. Hot. Hot girls. I didn't mean to racially, whatever it.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, then and that just sounded like I was saying that only hot girls are white. That's not what I meant. I just meant bratty,
You meant only
hot chicks.
Only white girls are rich.
No, that's not what I meant either. I was thinking of bratty, rich girls, and I just thought of white girls.
Yeah.
That's what my point was. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't, again, like I said, like I haven't met my soulmate. I've met, you know who I've met a couple times is girls who saw me do stand-up and basically thought I was cute, and then they saw me on Tinder.
And then you give them some loose, fast dick?
I haven't thrown
just
too
kidding.
much. No, I
I'm joking. Dude.
Honestly, I dated one girl, or I went on a couple dates with a girl, and you know the other thing is the thing that Tinder doesn't provide for is chemistry. It's like you can't. You have to go in person, and see if you have like social chemistry and sexual chemistry, and that's it. Because I can't, if I don't have sexual or social chemistry with somebody, like I can't really pretend.
I can't either. I cannot. My days.
I will not sleep with them.
Yeah. My days of sex with zero other connection are far behind me. Unless I'm like, drunk and somehow get into a talking zone with a girl that I'm not really that into, but the whiskey makes me think I am. And even then, very rarely do I ever go down that road again. Like sex without, I always was never that guy. Like even back in college, I remember I dated this girl. She was in one of my, I don't remember what class it was, doesn't matter. But I was in a class with a girl. She was a year ahead of me. She was the picture of every girl that never would have talked to me in high school. She was the cheerleader, the girl that would have dated the quarterback, blah, blah, blah. She was fucking beautiful. I talked to her all semester long. And finally, we ended up hooking up. I was beside myself. I couldn't believe it. And then after like 2 times of like hanging out, I just realized like what all her bullshit was. And I was just like, I can't do this with you. And then she was mad at me for not wanting to hang out with her. And all my friends were like, dude, that girl's so hot. You're crazy. What are you doing? And I was just like, dude, I can't do it. I can't fake it. If I don't want to be around you, I don't want to be around you.
I always say it's like it's like your brain says to your dick, like, why are you making me do this?
Yeah.
Like, why are you making me hang out with this girl? It's fucking boring.
Yeah.
And it's a waste. It's a life suck.
Yeah. You got to respect your dick. You can't treat your dick, like he's some kind of foot servant. Like get out there and clean the dumpster.
No, but that's not. You got to respect your brain. I think. The point of my story was my brain is kind of like, why are you doing this? Like to the dick, it's like kind of saying like, why are you? Because the dick doesn't care.
Well, see, here's the thing. I think the dick's too dumb to care.
That's what I mean. Like, so then the brain's like, why? This is a fucking waste of time.
Right.
You're wasting my time.
I know we're running in semantical circles, but that's why I look at it as respecting the dick, because it's like a dumb guy that works for you, and you're like, and your brain's like your wife that co-owns the shop, going, "Why are you making Larry? He'll fucking scrape the gum off the front sidewalk. Don't make him do that. That's not part of stock, boy. Don't you know what I mean?"
Yeah.
You're like, get out there, Larry. That's how I look at it. Like,
okay.
You have to step back and go, hey, buddy. I'm not going to take advantage of you because you won't know that I'm taking advantage of you. Your dick just has this fucking ape strength to keep going all goddamn day.
Yeah.
Yes. But like,
so what I find is I'll meet the girl,
right,
and see if we have chemistry. And if we don't, then I try to, and then I just make an excuse for why I can't see her again.
Right.
That's
I
it.
can't believe you even make an excuse. One date, I'm just like, no, I'm not going to. What am I going to break up with you because we?
Well, no, I just explained to her why I can't see her again. I'm not just going to be like, fucking, so,
Why don't you just not call her anymore? It's just one date. I mean, it's not. I don't think
I agree. Because it seems like a fair thing to do. It's just say like, hey, I don't think it's gonna, I'm too old for you, whatever.
Yeah, to me, that's like breaking up with somebody after a date.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we're breaking up. I just think it's like, just so you know, I'm not gonna call you anymore.
Right.
I'm not going to text you anymore. Basically, is what I'm saying.
More of a slow fade away.
Yeah, I mean, I've done that also, but I try to just say, hey, it's.
Well, you know what's interesting about your approach is I also think that's something that comes with age. You know, you're not that much older than me, obviously, but I think every few years you get a couple ticks closer to 100% undiluted honesty.
Yeah.
In your approach with these things. And sorry to keep saying I have a bit, but another bit that I'm working on is like this concept of like dating in your 30s versus dating in your 20s. Like the process, the stair-stepping up to marriage in your 20s is slow. It's long. You date for a few years. You know, there's the courtship, then there's the romance, and then you date, and then you get her the ring, and then the ring's there for a few years, and you get married, and they do that for a few years, and you go, well, it didn't work out, and you're only 29, you know, or 30, and it's okay. In your 30s, that process, once again, completely expedited. You know what I mean? You're taking a 100% honest approach to it, and it's far faster because you're like, I don't have time for bullshit.
You're gonna die.
Yeah, exactly. And your fucking filters are on. You know what you'll accept and what you won't accept. And after 2 weeks, which is an exaggeration, obviously, but you're just like, okay, well, you don't make me want to slam my face through this window, so let's give it a shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we could do this, you know, and then let's start at marriage. And then if it doesn't work out, we're only 42. You know what I mean? And then we can maybe
What do you mean
move on.
start at marriage?
Let's date for 2 weeks and get married. And let's just start there. I feel like you jump much faster into the, I'm exaggerating, obviously, but I feel like you jump much faster into the hardcore relationship the older you get. Because you're just like, okay, we've hung out for a few weeks. No red flags.
You also know what works for you.
Yeah, you don't annoy me. You haven't said anything racist. You're not too kooky religious.
You know what was funny is I said the N-word around this girl I was dating, and she was like, "Whoa, dude," because she'd never seen my act or anything.
Right.
And I was like, it was fun. I was glad that she said "whoa," because it was like, I was like, okay, so you're a decent person.
Your Philly just came out hard. I just got to point that out. You went, okay,
okay,
dude,
hon.
Dude, I said the end to this chick, dude. And she was totally whoa, dude. So
no, I was glad that she was like, why are you saying? I was like, yeah, I mean, you don't, I say it for jokes.
Yeah, you need somebody to give you a little pushback. I like that. This is it's just funny to me that you just told a story where you said, and I said the N-word.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just say it now? Because you essentially did just say it because you just told a story about. It wasn't like you told a story about somebody else.
I don't know, because it just sometimes, I don't know. It depends. I got to be in a mood. Honestly. Like, I just don't. I don't have a hard and fast rule other than, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I should say it, and sometimes I feel like I shouldn't.
I know what you mean. Sometimes you feel comfortable enough to make a certain kind of joke or whatever.
Yeah.
I get like that.
I also like my thing with the N-word is like, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. So it's like,
absolutely.
Meaning if you don't know me and you don't know, and I don't know you, and you're black and I say it, you're probably going to, your feelings are going to get hurt.
Of course.
So it's like, so whatever.
That makes sense.
And I'm sure you have a shitload of black listeners. So
tons.
Yeah.
Tons. This podcast only runs on Power 99 in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I hear what you're saying. There are certain jokes that, it's like if I know you well enough, we can go to a real dark place together. Yeah. And if I don't, then we probably can't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The bit I was doing was basically a racist, religious fundamentalist watching the Cosmos show with the black scientist.
Yeah.
And just going like, what is this? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
yeah. It was funny.
Yeah. You're doing. I also think that that's obviously. Do we have to even state this? That's completely different than dropping an N-bomb. Like,
yeah,
just
Neal deGrasse. I'm doing it as a character.
Exactly.
Who would say, but whatever. But again, fine.
I get weird about slurs about my own people. I'm Arab, and I don't mean like if you say it. If you say it, I'll laugh my balls off. I get scared to drop like camel jockey or whatever, and I'm a fucking camel jockey. You know what I mean? Like, it makes
you're
me,
afraid to say you don't want a backlash from your own people.
not even from my own people. I think they would think it was funny. I just get scared at how offended people get at stuff.
I know it's getting to the point where you can't even be racist.
It's like you can't even be racist.
It's like, it's
anymore.
weird. It stinks.
But you can't be racist about yourself. That's what's so crazy. Like, it freaks me out, man. Like, but you know, it's interesting because as we sit here talking about dating and stuff like that, I think it is cool that that girl said, "Hey, whoa, dude," because I feel like that is the right amount of opposites versus similarities in the relationship. You feel comfortable enough with this person to make a joke, yet the two of you are different enough that she can have a different reaction to it, yet the relationship is strong enough and you guys are connected enough that that's not a deal breaker.
Yeah, but
But
having said that, there was one of the last times we hung out. That wasn't why. That had nothing to do with it.
Right.
I don't want to fuck your point up.
Right.
I
thought
think
it was
I already
a great
did.
fucking point.
It kind of was. It would have been, but
then
it's just a bad application.
Then you fucked it up.
Yeah, but I don't. Again, all that stuff about pushback. The mistake I made for a long time was that when people go like relationships are hard work, I'm so like Irish Catholic that I would just grind myself into these relationships and go like, they're hard work, Neal. If you're not happy in this relationship, it's your fault. You need to go to therapy. You need to figure this out.
That's what I do.
And what I realized is that what you need, first of all, it's incredibly rare to find somebody that all of your things line up. Sexually, interests, energy, habits, shit like that. And so now I just hold out. Just like, no, I'm not going to settle for this.
Yeah. You know, the best advice I ever got when it comes to picking your soulmate was from a friend of mine who's married. And I said, how did you do it? How did you figure it out, man? It's so hard. And he said, look, he goes, I'd never tell my wife this. And it's not a bad thing or a good thing. She just might not understand fully where I was coming from. He's like, but when I met her, I was dating some other people and I didn't force any one of those relationships, not exclusively dating. He was just dating. And I didn't try to force any one of those circumstances into a certain direction. I just realized slowly over time that my wife was the one I wanted to hang out with the most. And as I realized that, the other people disappeared. And once they were all gone, my wife and I became exclusive. And then we dated, and she was my girlfriend, fiance, so on and so forth. And they have a very, very happy marriage. And I think that's the trick. He was just like, dude, stop beating yourself up. You know what I mean? Like live your life, date whoever. You don't. Oh, I used to have a thing in my act where I'd say, you know, it really makes me mad where if I'm dating multiple people, girls will say, that's an ego stroke. You're an asshole. Do the other girls know about the other girls? And I say, no. Well, you're an asshole. You need to tell them. And it's like, my reaction would always be, if I'm not allowed to fuck other girls when I'm married, and I'm not allowed to fuck other girls when I have a girlfriend, when am I allowed to fuck other girls? When did that happen? When did this whole thing come to light where it's like, you're seeing somebody, that's it. That's all you're allowed. That's the only thing. You know what I mean? Because then that's the mentality of the culture. I'm sure you've heard this bullshit. Well, I'm not your girlfriend, but we're not allowed to fuck other people. Well, what is that?
Yeah.
What does that mean? That's nonsense. That's stupid. It's non-committal. We're either doing it or we're not. And that to me is that like approach of like you're with me, but you're not with me, and you're not allowed to do this, and these fucking stupid rules. That's why you carry this goddamn guilt. Because then you start dating somebody and you think you have to be a certain way and you have to tie yourself, your boat to that post or whatever. And then when it's not working out, you start doing the turn it inward shit, turning the gun on yourself and going, something wrong with me and I'm fucked up and I'm crazy. And it's like, you're not. These things, Gary Shandling, to quote him again, said a great thing in an interview. I think it was with David Steinberg, and he said, you've never been married. Why is that? Like, why has it been such a hard decision for you to make? And Gary Shandling said, why wouldn't it be? It is an incredibly difficult decision and commitment to make to somebody, and people don't take it seriously and really screw themselves up because of it. And I totally agree with that. It's not just a thing. I remember once this couple we knew, that a guy I went to high school with, he still lives near my hometown, and him and his wife were going to break up or whatever, and my mom said, I heard so and so are going to get a divorce. Isn't that? Can you believe it? I said, what part of that makes you surprised? What part of that surprises you? These two people, they were the first two people they've ever slept with. Then they got engaged and they got married right out of high school and then started having kids.
Yeah.
What do you think was going to happen? That's a fucking recipe for disaster. People charge into this thing because they're so scared of being left outside of the cult. Because it really is a cult. I'm sure you felt that. I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but you get older, man. When I got into my 30s, I started to be like, this is weird. Everybody around me has settled down. I'm getting invited to these dinner parties and these other things where it's all couples. And people are starting to say things to me like, Joe, when are you going to grow up? When are you going to get married? When are you going to do this? When are you going to do that? It's like, when it fucking happens. I'm sorry that I'm not part of this.
What I find is people are. This didn't work as a. I always say that when I hear that someone's getting a divorce, I get the same positive feeling that I do when I hear that the Yankees lost.
Yeah.
It's like,
yes.
It's like the way they look at you when they're in love, they get married,
sure.
And they look at you like, you got to work it out.
Yeah.
And then you kind of go, oh, wait.
Yeah.
Turns out you were just as fucked up.
Right.
I just acknowledge it.
Right.
I'm just in touch with not like I'm in touch with my fucked upness. I'm not opposed to getting married to somebody.
Right.
I mean, I'm not dying to get married, but I would love to be in love with somebody forever. That fucking would be awesome.
Be wonderful.
Yeah. But so when people get smug about it, I don't feel any pressure to get married. It's like,
No, I don't feel any pressure either. The only time I mean, I'm not saying the pressure isn't attempted to be applied by other people. I don't submit to any of it. In fact, I told my mom once a few years back when she would go, when are you going to give me some grandkids? She would say that a lot. And, I just wish you get married. I was like, stop saying that to me. Stop it. We had a fight about it. Well, I'm just saying, I don't care what you're saying. Stop saying that to me. Do you understand how guilty you're making? It's not fair. That's what you want. It's not what stop. And she stopped. And it's bettered our relationship, actually.
Yeah.
I don't think that stuff is harmless, passive.
No, it's passive aggression.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the only time I sort of submit a bit to marital pressure is when it comes from me, because I'll start to go, you're a comic, and you're out here on your own, and you tour around, and what if the big thing never comes? What if the big payday never comes? What if that retirement money never gets there? What are you going to do, dude? You're going to die alone? You're going to be 55 years old, chasing 25-year-old waitresses around a comedy club somewhere? You don't want to be that guy.
Right.
That's terrifying to me. And I guess...
Yeah, but here's the other thing. I also don't want to be the guy in a shitty marriage.
Yeah.
So when people go, it's like it's the Chris's joke about the old guy at the club. Yeah, I don't want to be the old guy in a shitty fucking relationship either. So
Chris Rock's joke? Yeah. What's the joke again?
You just don't want to be the old guy in the club.
Right.
You're not old. You're just too old to be in the club. It's like, yeah, I don't want it. I'd rather be Gary Shandling.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, Gary's a weird guy, but so am I.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not getting married if I didn't want to would make me go insane.
The way I look at it now, my definition of soulmate these days is like a roommate that I get to have sex with sometimes. That's really how I see it. A girl that I've sort of had a involvement with on and off and sporadically through the years, we've never lived in a close enough
Kathleen Madigan. Go ahead.
Yeah. by the way, it's not Kathleen Madigan. She and I have had a thing, a history.
Is that true?
Not romantic, but we had a beef at one point. So
I believe that. What was it about?
Oh wow, I don't even know if I should trudge up this story, but in simply fast story version of the story. I auditioned for Last Comic Standing years ago when she was a judge. It was her aunt and Alonzo Bowden. Her and aunt were particularly mean to me, and really condescending, in a way they didn't need to be. I left. I went and did a podcast and shit on Last Comic Standing and took some really hard shots at Kathleen Madigan and aunt. And I took a few shots at Alonzo too, and Alonzo and I are friends now. Like, it's all water under the bridge. And I shouldn't have said anything about him. But it got pretty, she heard it, and then Alonzo emailed me, and that started a conversation between Alonzo and I. And that led to us making up and me apologizing to him, which I felt was absolutely the right thing to do. But Aunt and I never, I didn't know the guy to begin with, and Kathleen and I never spoke. And then I heard some, I don't know if they're true, but I heard some stories. Let's just say we were booked on the same TV show, the three of us, meaning Aunt, Kathleen, and myself. And the stories that I heard were meaning the booker of the TV show calling my managers and being like, what's going on here? We're getting pushback from Aunt and Kathleen about him being on the show. And they tried to basically have me supposedly removed from the show.
Yep.
Which really bothered me, because it was like, so I can audition for your show and you can shit on me, but then if I go shit on you on my show, meaning a podcast, I'm somehow out of line or whatever. Should I have done it? Shouldn't I have done it? I don't know. I got a lot of nice support from comedians that heard it, so that was cool. And I got a pat on the back from some guys I really looked up to, so that was nice. But, at the end of the day, who fucking cares?
Yeah.
Now I got to have this weird exchange every time Kathleen Madigan's name comes up. Was it worth it? Was it worth it to have to tell this story every time?
I don't know.
Probably not.
Well,
if I met her now, I wouldn't even care, know. But and I would love to actually talk to her and just be like, hey, can we just be pals? Anyway, we didn't date, Neal.
Off and on.
Yeah,
you were off and on with.
We were off and on. It was actually Aunt and I that were off and on, and then he took the Celebrity Fit Club job from me, and I couldn't get over it. That was my gig. Anyway, here's the thing. It was my gig, Ernie. I see you chuckling over there. Those people didn't know who fucking Dustin Diamond was till I put that name in their ear. Anyway, what were we talking? Oh, girl, off and on, blah, blah, blah. She texted me recently and said, we'll text each other food texts. She'll be like, I'm at Burger King right now. I'm getting the Big King. It's back. And I'll be like, I'm so jealous. Or I'll go to Pizza Hut and I'll text her pictures of the breadsticks. We really enjoy fatty talk.
Yeah.
And she sent me one of those texts one day, and I said to her oh, you're talking like my soulmate right now. And she was like, let me describe to you what a soulmate should be. And she hit all 3 points. She was like, you can lay around in your underwear together. You can pig out on the couch together. You can watch movies all day. And I was like, well, you just basically described us. And she was like, yeah, I'm describing it per our common interests or whatever. And that's really when it clicked in my head. I was like, that is really, I think, what a soulmate is. It's like a roommate that you have sex with sometimes.
Yeah.
And like you said, the sex is 5% maybe.
Yeah.
If you fuck like animals.
Yeah.
But really the other 97%, realistically, is just hanging out.
Yeah.
It's, can we go to a diner? Do you get as excited about the weird Reese's peanut butter cake that this diner does that I do?
Yeah.
Do you want to drive 22 minutes out of the way to go to the movie theater with the weird stench because we think it's funny?
Yeah.
Versus the AMC or whatever. That's the fucking meat.
Yeah.
Do you want to go get lost in Amoeba with me? Let's do it.
Here's what you're describing is luck. That's what it comes down to. I'm not kidding.
I know you're not. It's just funny. The truthful candidness of it is what's funny.
It's fucking luck.
Right.
It's just luck.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's like it's your fucking weirdness and her weirdness and timing, and you meet and you're not seeing anybody. It's luck. That's why the idea of one soulmate to me is so bananas. Like,
well, I think that's a wonderful place to bring it to a close. I really do, because I totally agree.
Yeah.
It is luck. And as I said at the beginning, this is a game. That's all it is. We're just all playing a game. And it's a luck thing. It's the casino. It's not football. It's the casino.
Yes.
You're in there going, I could use this $500 to fix my car.
You know what? It's craps.
Yeah.
You got fucking some over here on 8. You got the snake eyes. You got And then what's funny is with craps, half the time you'll forget you had money on something.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, and they send you money. You're like, what the fuck did I do for this? And you're like, oh yeah, I put it down on the snake because I'm smart.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's like the girl that you don't think about that often.
Yeah,
all of a
and
sudden
then,
does this incredibly sweet thing for you, and you go, why have I not paid attention to this girl? Yeah, and just like in a casino, there are probably more productive ways to spend your time and money, but you want to see if you can win the game.
Right.
And hopefully we all will one day. Who knows?
And it goes back to a joke. I think it's a Joan Rivers joke about Vegas, and it applies to romance. Vegas is the only place where dissatisfied customers keep coming back.
Yeah.
And that's how I always felt about romance. It's like, no, this is fucking impossible. I lose repeatedly.
Yeah.
And yet I'm compelled to keep going on Vegas.com.
Because you just might win.
Because you never know.
God damn,
if you don't play, you can't win.
If you win, that house is paid for, baby.
Yeah.
Neal, thanks so much.
Jojo, my pleasure.
This was great.
Yeah.
You want to plug anything besides your podcast?
Nah,
plug it.
iTunes. Oh, The Champs is the name of the podcast.
The Champs. Listen to it. Check out Neal's special.
Yeah.
Women
it's
and
on
Black
iTunes.
Dudes.
It's on iTunes. It's on YouTube, and it's on ccdirect.com.
Yeah, and go
direct.cc.com. It's $5.
Go see him live. I can't stress that enough. I find Neal to be really, really funny and a risk taker on stage. He says he'll go into places that a lot of guys won't, and I think it's really great.
Sometimes I'll say nigger.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
I felt it that time. You know what I mean? All right, I gotta go.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Thinking about starting this podcast, and it was probably a year before I did. I was just like, what's the fucking point? There's so many. And he was like, no, there's not so many. You think there's so many because you're a comic, and it seems like everybody has one because all your comedian friends have one. But in the world itself, podcasts are not that huge of a thing.
No, they're not that huge. But, I mean, I love that we're all good at talking.
Yeah.
I love that we're just like, oh, no, we're all great at talking. We're going to take care of this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's mostly comics in the top 20.
I love it because I feel like it's a return, and that's what we're trying to do with this show, to traditional talk radio. I always loved AM talk radio, which eventually just went the way of the dodo or became really hard.
Screaming
political stuff or whatever. But I used to love when it was I used to deliver pizzas at night when I was in college. And I
believe that. Go ahead.
Yeah, you believe it. Philly. Yeah, Dave.
Yeah,
delivering hoagies, son. But yeah, I delivered pizzas, and it was just like, I loved it. You drive around, and like a guy would come on the radio and go, today's topic, dating. And then people would call in and be like, you're right on the money, man. I agree with everything you're saying. Or people would call in and be like, what the fuck you're talking about?
Yeah, I actually I always mean to listen to more talk radio than I do. But it is hard to find good talk. I like it. It always makes me think of premises.
Yeah.
It always makes me think of jokes, and I never do it.
It doesn't really exist anymore.
No.
I mean, even on like Sirius Satellite, which I thought was going to really bring a lot of it back, there isn't really like a talk station. There's Opie and Anthony and Ron and Fez and Stern and those shows, but like there's not like a talk station on there.
Yeah.
I guess there's a new one called Stand Up that Pete Dominic's on, and I think no, it's not. His show's called Stand Up. The station, whatever. I think that's going to be like their new sort of podcasty
Oh, good.
Which is
All right.
funny to hear radio saying we're going to be more podcasts.
Yeah, we're going to get me a podcast.
Yeah. So anyway, dating. This is why we're here. You picked this topic. I wasn't surprised that you picked this topic when I sent you the list of topics.
Yeah.
Because as I said in your intro, you told me a couple of heartbreak stories. I find you to be, would you say, a hopeless romantic in a certain way? You got a little bit of that old romantic streak in you.
I would like it to work.
Mm-hmm.
I would really like it to work. I fell in love with a girl for the first time 2 years ago.
Right.
And that's the first time.
How old are you now, if you don't
40.
mind? You're 40.
Yeah.
It took till 38.
Yeah.
So there's hope for me because I'm 36, and it's still, I've loved people and I've had relationships, but nothing's worked out so far.
But yeah, what I realized is that it takes, first of all, the shit's impossible. Like, that's A. But what's impossible about it is you got to find somebody. What I realized with the girl that I was in love with is like, you got to have shit in common.
Right.
Which I didn't, for a long time, I inadvertently had low expectations.
Right.
I think a lot of guys have low expectations
Right.
for what girls can be like.
Right.
So it's like you always hear guys go like, well, they're all crazy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
so guys assume that girls are going to be crazy, and you assume that they're going to be a pain in the butt.
Right.
And they're going to be a little talky and chatty, and they're going to talk more than you want. They're going to be needy and all that stuff. But what I found is with that girl, I was like, oh, shit. All right. There is a whole nother type. I mean, I haven't met a ton of them, but.
What was the thing about her? I mean, I know there was probably many things, but
Yeah.
what was the one thing that really popped at first? The first thing that made you say, oh, this is not like everybody else. This is different.
We could talk forever.
That's great.
Yeah,
That is
about
great.
really interesting. She was getting a master's in psychology,
Right.
and we could just talk endlessly.
That's
Yeah.
so important. I think that's more important than anything. I almost think that's more important than like sexual
It's
chemistry.
of course the thing I always tell people is, if you fuck a lot, you're fucking 5% of the relationship.
Right.
That's if you fuck a lot.
Right. Yeah.
It's mostly just. It's like I tried to joke, it didn't really work, but I was like, you want to know what a relationship's going to be like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was never going to end.
Your intro or the whole thing?
Well, no, I just like how you said that I wrote for Keenan and Kel. Also, we didn't do no 65 episodes. We did 25.
It said 65 on IMDb.
No, we did 28.
I guess 65 would be a lot. But no, when I read that, I was like, oh, yeah, 3 seasons. I guess 20-some episodes per season.
2.3 seasons.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying really like I didn't know the story. Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Did it go up? What happened?
What?
No, it was just canceled regular, right?
Yeah, we ran it. The people gave up on us. People turned their back.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, well, 23 episodes then.
Yeah.
25, whatever. it
Felt
was.
like 65 though.
Felt like 65.
Yeah.
Look, they were all good, Neal, and
Thank
that's
you,
all that
buddy.
counts. Neal was saying right when he got here, I quote, podcasts are the fucking worst.
Mm-hmm.
It is the worst.
And this is from a guy who has a podcast, and it's the whole thing is embarrassing.
I should have plugged your podcast. I'm
It's
sorry.
called The Champs.
The Champs.
It's we're finally popular.
Okay, good.
We're finally like regularly in the top 30.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. It's booking people is a nightmare, meeting them, cajoling them to come, them calling, I'm outside. Where do I park?
I know.
Where y'all at?
I know.
And then it's all black dudes. That's the premise of the show. We only interview black guys. And they don't even know what podcasts are a lot of the time. And I say that it's just, they just don't, are like, what? Donnell always says it, like, black people don't fuck with technology.
What do some of your guests think is happening when they show up if they don't?
Well, what they finally get, they kind of get it.
Right.
I mean, most of them get it, but like, I will straight up go get text back going, the fuck is a podcast?
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Can you tell me anybody that said that?
D. Ray Davis.
He said
comedian.
the fuck is a podcast?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
So it's just not a part of
black
culture
life.
as much as it is white culture?
No, not
Really?
even close.
Okay. You know what? My old manager told me when I was thinking, today's show is brought to you by the people that cast you aside. Why else would you be listening to this podcast unless you were fucking alone? Down with Joe DeRosa. Welcome to Down with Joe DeRosa. One topic, 1 hour, one guest. Today's topic, dating. The wonderful, exhilarating, terrifying, devastating, and stimulating thing we all do in the hopes of finding that special someone or just crushing some sweet tail. We all have our love stories, but more of us, have horror stories. And here's mine, since this topic is so vast and varied that there's no way to really pinpoint one unwavering perspective on it. I asked a girl out on Twitter recently, not through a DM, on Twitter, where friends of mine could and did favorite the tweet. Why did I do that? Because I thought she was cool and cute. And what did she say? In so many words, no. And it felt like high school all over again, shot down for what appeared to be the entire world to see. Was I mortified? Slightly. Was I embarrassed? Sure. Was I hurt? Not really, because I've been playing this harsh romantic game for so long, it now just feels like football more than romance. You step on the field, you will be bruised, there will be blood, and hopefully some sex. And hey, maybe even love. So we all get up to love and fight another day, and also have our hearts fucking broken. And my guest today has told me a heartbreak story or two. He's someone I met roughly 9 years ago in New York City, where so many comics used to first meet in front of the dingy facade of the late fabulous Boston Comedy Club. I found him hilarious then, and that has not changed in any way. He's one of the many impressive versions of what you could call a triple threat as a writer. As a writer, he was one of the masterminds behind 65 episodes of Chappelle's Show, and he also co-created it. He's also written for immensely popular shows like Funny or Die Presents and Keenan and Kel. His film works include directing Jeremy Piven and Will Ferrell in The Goods and co-writing the movie Half Baked, which remains being one of my favorites to this day. Finally, his 1 hour special entitled Women and Black Dudes showcases him doing what I like seeing him do most, stand-up comedy. Neal Brennan.
Yeah. Just don't think about the sex. Just right now, just drive to a diner, sit in silence for a half an hour, and then ask her about her sister. And that's what a relationship is going to be. Yeah. Like, that's ultimately where you're headed. So it's like, do you like being around them? And then also like just talking.
Right.
Just fucking, we could talk a lot.
Yeah.
And she wasn't dogmatic in her beliefs. Like she was open to, she was just like, yeah, you know, she wasn't like, she was willing to admit what people are like. I think a lot of time, and that's important.
Well, no, it absolutely is. It's you know, it's funny because, you know, the cliche obviously is opposites attract. You know,
no, they don't.
Yeah, and it's just not true. Like when I'm with an opposite, I want to wring their
horrible.
neck. It's the worst thing ever.
Yeah, opposites can fuck for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, you can have that sort of stupid romantic comedy energy where you're yelling at each other, and then like there's that like, I'm gonna kiss you right now. You know what I mean? Like that whole stupid thing.
Yeah,
that's possible with opposites. The other thing that's possible with opposites is, you know, you can meet somebody that sort of gets you to brush the dirt off your shoulder once in a while, or you know, maybe gives you a darker perspective on things if you're a really bright type of person. But I do think you need the like-minded person. The best girls I've ever dated were I remember there was one girl, she would stay at my apartment sometimes, and she'd be there for 25 hours. And I didn't care. There was no part of me that was like,
you
get
gotta
out of here.
be. I always say, like, when I'm looking in one direction and the girl is out of my peripheral vision, I want to feel good energy. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, I want to know. I want them around, and it's hard to find somebody because men and women are very different. That's the thing. Gary Shandling one time did a joke. He goes, "They're the opposite sex. They're not different. They're the opposite."
Yeah.
And that's how it feels a lot of the time, where it's like, just like, oh, fuck, I don't want to do any of the shit you want to do.
Right. Well, I